Hello, fellow Fumblers, and welcome to another episode of the Film Fumblers podcast, the show where four friends fumble through your favorite films. Today, we are reviewing A Night at the Roxbury, a movie released in 1998 and directed by John Fortenberry. So without further ado, my name's Adrian.
I'm Jay.
I'm Taryn.
And I'm James.
Okay.
All right. Those audio listeners, we were attempting to do the iconic head bob. That was hard. I'm proud of myself for keeping that together. Well, I stopped halfway through, but
I feel
luckily no windows around my head.
Yeah, right. Let's take this shot, boys.
I feel drunk.
Yeah, that'll get you.
We
drunk.
didn't discuss when to stop, and that was hilarious to me. I couldn't stop laughing. Cheers, chat. Cheers, bros.
Cheers, guys.
Woo! Gross.
Ooh.
Ooh.
They never get easier, even on our 40.
It was
What episode is this, guys?
47?
47th episode.
Right?
Is it 47?
Never
I actually
gets
don't know.
easier.
I feel like have we even released Children of Men? So this is not the time to talk. I don't know. In the late 40s.
47 is right.
Yeah.
47 sounds right.
Yeah.
All right. A Night at the Roxbury. Switching it up quite a bit.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like it's fun to go back sometimes to these, like, what do we call it? Is it too degrading to say simpler movies? I don't know. Like,
Compared to what we've done recently, sure.
Yeah. I think this is maybe a needed break in some ways.
yeah.
Because
Well-
Children of Men into Whiplash was like pretty heavy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did Under Wraps for Halloween. We like wrapped out. That was like the simplest, This is like
Yeah.
super simple kid movie. Obviously, Night of the Roxbury is not really a kid movie, but it's
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it basically is, right? Like, that's like
Yeah.
that's where you get into the big conversation is who did they make this fucking movie for?
For
Ooh.
Lorne Michaels.
Like who
There it is.
was
Oh man.
whose idea was it to pitch this movie of all the SNL skits that they could have?
Yeah, dude.
This is like the SNL movie that nobody asked for, right?
Dude, there's actually a list
Not
of
to start
SNL movies
so negative.
that
There's
I'm
this
sure
one-
none of us have heard of. They made
Yeah.
a lot of these fucking movies. And I'll say right now, Wayne's World is the only good one.
I was just gonna say because this, like, I had it in my head, like Wayne's World reminds me of this type of movie, but I feel like Wayne's World is just so much better. Like we don't have to compare them,
Yeah, I
Right,
mean, it
here,
is an
but,
SNL movie. Like,
Yeah, well,
There is
Yeah.
a lot of them though.
there's
Yeah.
a lot. They
And
are.
some of them. I mean, what I feel like SNL or that the Lorne Michaels empire does is just like it's just betting. They're just gambling. Make 100
Yeah.
fucking comedy, fucking
One of them's
crazy
gonna hit.
movies.
Yeah,
One of them will
honestly,
hit.
they
and it'll
they
all be
hit
worth
with
it.
this movie. This movie made like $30 million on a $1 million budget.
1 million?
Damn.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, like how
Like-
expensive?
Wow.
like that's
would
a
it be
pretty
to-
good fucking bet for
That
this
is-
being a
that is
movie
true.
nobody asked for. I don't know. Maybe our age is showing here. Maybe we're just too young to remember like how epic the when these guys were introduced on SNL. I don't know. Maybe it was just insane. But from what I gathered is the original skit had Jim Carrey in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Jim Carrey
Yeah.
at the time was kind of like this
Pet
superstar
Detective,
with
fucking-
Peck Detective and The Mask and all that kind of stuff, and he was just like, "No, I'm not gonna be a part of that." But he did some revision writing on this movie, so
Oh.
Was he?
Dude,
was he one of
has-
the main characters? Well, like who was he in the original?
In
I
the
have no
SNL
clue.
skit?
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Did anyone
I
watch it?
watched it. Yeah, it's literally the movie, but it's just like small. It's just like small bits where
It's
they're in the car and they're doing. And at one point they go to all these different clubs and they're just like being obnoxious, doing the dance. And at one point they're at a retirement home and they're like feeding this old lady like to the beat.
What the fuck?
It's just totally off the
That's
rails.
so funny.
but
I was gonna say it was
yeah.
probably the appropriate length.
yeah,
Is it
no,
them
it's
too?
4.5 minutes. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's
Same-
it's
perfect.
all
Same
three
here.
of them. It's all three of them. Yeah.
What
was
did you
there.
see Jim Carrey? Was he
Oh,
What the
Jim
fuck?
Carrey's in the
Jim
skit?
Carrey's the third. He's the
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
It's
Third what?
Will Ferrell.
He's
the
just
third.
Oh, he's
person.
just
in
like
the
a
back
third
seat.
bro. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in the back seat.
Okay.
It's,
So
yeah,
they're
it's
just
Chris
yeah.
Kattan, Will Ferrell, and Jim Carrey in the back.
Wow.
Wow.
Which is funny because this movie does a small cameo's not the right word, but Jim Carrey's mentioned in the movie where
Yeah.
the boss at the nightclub, he's like, "Oh, I got a meeting with Jim Carrey, the pet detective, and the mask." Like and I'm just like, "Oh fuck, how
It's
cool
like, come
would
here,
it
you
been if they had
crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's
Did you grab my ass?
Pet detective
It's like he's
bastard.
definitely not showing up right now. Like that's that kind
Yeah.
of joke. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's what it says. You pet detective bastard.
Yeah.
That's funny as fuck, dude.
And I
Oh,
feel like since he did a little revision work on it, I feel like maybe he even wrote that joke in for himself. Like,
I wonder. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. But that kind of proves you give somebody an inch, they'll take it a mile with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I don't know. Is it a good thing? Is it
Yeah,
a bad thing? Apparently, it was a good thing for them. $30 million later.
True.
29
Short term,
years
good
later.
thing. Long term, who gives a fuck?
I don't know. I feel like okay, so this movie came out 1998. None of us really watched it. I mean, how old were we? Like 7, you know? Like we were pretty young. Like
So
I feel like I didn't watch it until like
I saw it once when I was
dude.
like 18, like that area.
yeah,
period.
like high school kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I may have seen this way early on because
boy.
okay, I watched this movie for the first time. I had this friend who lived down the street from me when I was growing up, and he moved away to like Michigan or some shit before we even got to like middle school. So,
And you
this
watched
was,
it
like,
with
the-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first dude I had met where they had like they had a like media room, like a TV and
Ah.
like nice seats or like seats on the floor in a room like just to watch movies and shit.
Yeah.
And so he introduced me to like Jaws and this movie
Wow.
and maybe
This-
others, but I only remember those two.
The
And he was like-
greatest.
What an interesting
Greats.
what an
know.
interesting lineup that he went with.
And he was like, "You have to watch this movie. It's so funny." And we
Yeah.
had to have been like maybe 10, maybe not even 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Perfect.
And that's like the audience that like gravitates towards this movie. The person who picked this film, Steven,
It's 10 years
I think
old.
I've
just
he's
kidding.
10 years old.
He's our youngest viewer.
He's our youngest viewer, and he has a drinking problem. No. I've probably seen this movie like 20 times, probably.
Dude,
Damn.
and you don't
Even
even
though
remember like half
I didn't
of
even
the
remember
movie.
it. Yeah, but like we've
Wow.
watched it. We've watched it so many times. Like it was just a movie that you watch. Like I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it's
It's just
on,
like
you know.
it's on, and like you're young guys, and these guys are acting stupid, and they're acting just like how you would act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little risky. So it's like there's sex and there's like weird stuff going on. Like,
Yeah.
And for a teenager, you're just like,
Whoa.
okay, yeah.
Hmm.
I can see
Yeah.
it.
I'll say my friend is like maybe a year or two older than me, the one that showed me this movie. But I don't even know if I had seen it since then. Maybe like once or
Really?
twice, and maybe not the whole thing, just in spurts. But I did forget a lot of the stuff, and it was like a lot funnier this time. Just some of the like, random jokes they dropped. Like the one that stuck out to me was when they're in the kitchen and the mom is like, or the dad is like, "Oh, get the camera. He's about to hit his peak or something."
Oh,
And the mom is
yeah.
like, "If you're gonna peak, go do it in your bedroom." Or something. That was really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely some good one-liners in this. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like everyone knows of this movie, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you just see the like I remember I was telling Samantha, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have to watch, Night at the Roxbury." And I showed her the cover. She was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Like she didn't know
Yeah.
the title right away, but you know this movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
and, like-
funny
Yeah.
because I feel like this. What is the song called? God damn it! I asked this before we started.
What is love?
What is love? Obviously, I feel like I've heard that song so many times that it's separated from the movie. Like it's transcended the movie. Like
It's
I don't
really?
think of the movie when I hear the song, but like in
Uh-huh.
the movie, I'm like, obviously, yes, The
I
head
don't
bob.
That's
know though.
interesting.
That head bob is like just ridiculously iconic. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
that's what
I
I was-
don't attribute it to the movie. I feel like it's just like I attribute it more to the song. Does that make any sense?
it exists outside of the. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're
Because
saying.
that's like the extent of the joke in the SNL skit is the head bob, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the entire joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. The movie definitely relies heavily on reoccurring jokes. So
yeah.
much
Oh,
much
yeah.
that me and Taryn watched the movie together.
Thankfully.
Yeah, there's the point where they're going to the meeting and they're in the elevator and there's a lady
The
in
fucking
the
elevator version of the song, dude.
Yeah, there's the elevator version of
Okay.
the song.
So good.
That
And
was
then I-
brilliant.
That was
That's
good.
fucking hilarious.
Just like the
that's-
subtle.
Yeah, like that was one of the better jokes I think for me because I was like, they actually hired somebody to make an elevator version of this fucking song.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
The subtlety there was perfect because this movie, every other joke is like not subtle at all.
Yeah.
But it
that
was
one
the
was really
other reoccurring joke. So the lady was in the elevator, and then I told Taryn, I was like, "Hey,
Oh.
they didn't tell her what's up. They didn't tell her what's
Yeah.
up."
Oh my
And then
God.
immediately after, Will Ferrell was like, "Hey, we didn't tell her what's up," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like, so it like
What's
they.
up?
That's what was fun. Like this movie knows it's stupid. Like that's what like I
Right.
could kind of
It's true.
appreciate about it is because they had me like already guessing the reoccurring joke. So it's like
Mhm.
I was along with the ride, right? Like I was there and I was waiting for it to happen, and then they made a joke about it not happening. So I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of clever in a way.
That one was
Yeah.
specifically good. Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, no, and I love movies that don't have to always take themselves so seriously. And this entire movie is like a parody of itself. Like it's just
Yeah.
this genre of movies that it's the over the top, like just really stupid comedies that
Right.
And then
No.
okay, so to go into that, like this is a parody of itself. So like you could maybe almost think that this is a timepiece because okay, What Is Love, the song, came out in 1993. This movie came out in 1998, 5 years later. So it's like almost like and there's so many other like old references to like TV shows like
Mhm,
Joni Loves
mhm.
Joni Loves Chachi, which were like
There's a
late
Donald
80s.
Trump line in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
really?
randomly- yeah.
So it's like it feels like these guys are like trying to live in the heyday of the early 90s but it's 98. And so like they definitely are making fun of that scene. So and
Yeah.
that's what SNL does. Makes
You could
fun of
even
a-
see that
Yeah.
with like their costumes, like how the two main characters are dressed compared to everyone else. Like they're just very exaggerated versions of the 90s.
Yeah.
Where like everyone else at the clubs and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's 90s,
Yeah.
it's the 90s style, but
But
they're
it's 98, yeah.
Right,
So like
yeah.
they're like stuck in 92. They're like
Yeah,
trying to like
exactly,
live this
exactly.
thing.
Well, and that actually fits well because they're how old are these guys? They're in their
I have no-
like how old are they?
29, 30, I feel like.
They're like in their
Yeah,
30s, for
late
sure in their
20s.
30s. I
but
think.
that girl's going to
30s.
college, so like
I feel like they're for sure in their 30s, maybe early 30s, but they're still living at home. They're just like doing nothing. And it's kind of just a play on like they're just stuck in the past. Like they've
Yeah.
never, they probably weren't very popular in high school. And even after that, they're still chasing that high of like, oh, we need to go out and pick up girls and get like do this. They've just never grown up. It's a movie about like not fucking growing up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's hard to say because that Will Ferrell's first love is like our second love. The lady he's marrying, I don't remember her name.
The neighbor.
oh,
The
Molly
neighbor.
Shannon.
Yeah, she's like going to college, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So,
it's
like,
like
how
they're in
old
their
is she?
20s.
You could go to college at any point though. Like that's kind of the
Yeah.
thing is I don't know.
I feel like, yeah, that's true, but like if they mention a movie, it's like she's like
You're
20
of college
something.
age.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think that but you're right in that like they're not growing up, but also like they're like cringy dudes who don't have real life experience and like don't even like need to do anything because they come from like
Right.
money,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like it plays on a lot of different things, and they you know, they have these aspirations of like owning a club, which is interesting, and they
Mhm.
ultimately achieve that, which is also I totally forgot about that.
Dude,
Yeah.
don't
That's
you
the
just
only
love?
part I remember.
You just love how the main guy, the club owner, is just like, oh yeah, you guys gave me that idea. I'm gonna cut you in, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, is
Yeah.
that how starting a business works? You just
So nice of
Yeah.
him.
He was a
Sometimes
great
lucky, you
character.
know.
sometimes lucky,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude,
No,
okay,
and-
okay. The connection. Do you know where this motherfucker? What other movie this guy was in? Does anyone
Which
know?
the club
The club
owner?
owner?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. What's his name?
Doesn't matter.
Chaz
Doesn't matter.
'Cause I'll
Palminteri.
tell you what movie he was in. Running Scared.
No.
Yes.
Are
He
you
was the
fucking kidding me?
detective, dude.
Detective in Running Scared. So
Oh,
we're,
that's right.
we're coming full circle here, boys.
Benny Zadir is the
Fumbler
character's
verse.
name. Chaz.
Very much
What the
so.
fuck is going on, dude?
Oh Jesus.
Who
How
set
does
this
this
up?
happen?
Who set this up?
That is crazy. That's
Steven
pretty cool
set it
though.
up.
Do
Steven
all
set it up.
time
Steven
come
knew.
back to running scared, dude? Is this really our life now?
He was
It
so
really
funny
does, I
though,
mean-
dude. Right?
He was a really good character.
I loved his character.
The ass
yeah.
grabbing joke was honestly funny every time.
And like that's what's
Really?
crazy. Like that's what's crazy is it had no right to be funny every
Yeah,
time
because
it played so many. He played that joke what 5 times?
the last one, the guy was like on the phone in a
On the
different
phone.
city. Like,
In
I
like
love
yeah.
that
he didn't
one.
grab your, you didn't grab his ass.
It's physically
said-
impossible.
Yeah,
There is
He's
no
so
like-
good.
He's like, I know your sneaky ways.
It's so funny, dude. That's the funniest
love it
bit, I
because-
think. I think.
Because he's just like, it's okay if you did. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
it's like inviting it. I love that.
Honestly, the two things I remembered from this movie were the head mob and the ass grab jokes.
Mhm.
Like those
The
kind of embody
two
the whole thing.
Good things.
And then, but like
Yeah.
the epic dance routine, like
the
where
dances are great too.
where
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like they're like fumbling on each other, and then
Yeah.
eventually they start all doing it together. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"That's a lot of good ass grabbing."
Dude,
yes, it's two good jokes. Like
Combines
That
that
was
joke,
good.
yeah. Dude, which I mean, does anyone else? Anytime the lights go out somewhere, like if you guys ever been in a building, all the lights just go out, the power goes out or whatever, and just who grabbed my ass? And it's like that's like
Yeah,
that has
Yeah.
to be from that,
yeah.
kind of
Uh,
thing.
And I know, and I can't even like we've always said like something like no, yes. Like, I've
Yes.
said that a million.
Yeah.
I've said it all the time. Where like, and honestly, I didn't even know it was from this movie. I couldn't remember that, but it's just like, but I say it all the time. It's just like, are you drunk? No. Yes. It's like it's so
Which
stupid,
brings
but
it
it's like-
back to what Taryn was saying, where like it's almost like these jokes actually transcend the movie. Where the whole head bob thing in the song, it's like
yeah.
it's almost like those things are tied together separate from the movie in a way. It's I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like we don't want to give this movie any credit, but there's a lot of really funny stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really is.
The legacy is a lot more than you would think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
This movie made me miss clubbing, going to the club.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Same,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
I was like, when are they doing 90s night? I'm going, dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
FX, man.
Dude, like let's talk about the soundtrack. Honestly,
The best
Okay.
fucking
I was
part.
just amazed about how many bangers after bangers just hit. So like
Dude, it's nonstop.
yeah. So like okay, so What Is Love doesn't really remind me of this movie, but it reminds me of Helen's mom, Vilma, because every time
Shout out.
we would go hang out with them, we're listening to la da da dee da 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 da. Like,
That was in this
"My
movie,
love, I
right?
wanna be." Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
like
Perfect,
like all
man.
those movies, and it just like oh my god, like I'm just like I love all those fucking songs.
Yes,
Oh, dude.
so
It
good.
was
I-
just banger after banger. So like
It's
the
the
soundtrack
turn
alone
of-
is like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The soundtrack unmatched. Like this is like one of the best fucking soundtracks. Like jokes aside, all of these are straight bangers.
yeah.
I have a Spotify playlist. It's called Turn of the Century Metrosexual Nightclubs, and every single one of these songs is on that playlist.
Dude.
Like
The remix of Careless Whisper?
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
sick.
it was actually really
Okay.
good.
It was cool.
There's that song that reminds me of Manuel. Where do you go?
My lovely.
my
Shout
manny.
out.
My manny.
We remixed it. My manny. I wanna know.
I wanna know.
And that guitar. It's just so good. Oh my god.
That is
Whatever you guys say.
If they had a
This is the
90s
music
night,
thing,
I
it's
would
just
be
like-
crying in the club, jumping up and down, dude.
It's like that Drake
then
meme where he's reaching up at
Yes,
the stage.
that's perfect. Perfect.
And then they hit into the Bee Gees, right? That's on
That
the
was-
soundtrack.
Yeah.
That felt a little random. Yeah.
And
But
then
it's
they
still really good.
they do the "If You Want My Body and You Think I'm Sexy,"
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Rod
Yeah,
Stewart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alonzo's hating in the chat. Can't agree with the 90s. It's a different generation.
Oh,
boy.
man.
Dude, I feel like,
Because
okay,
it's my generation. Oh, God.
He's definitely,
we
like-
can keep going, man.
he's
do
of
this
an
all
older
day.
generation where that
all
was
day.
definitely cheesy to him, where we're like,
Yeah.
ironically, this is sick.
Well,
Yeah.
like,
Unironically, this is sick. I don't know.
so again, we were pretty young when this came out. I mean, and then
Yeah.
granted, like
Yeah.
early 90s, like, we literally were born, but maybe like, I don't know if you guys have, well, I'm trying to think. Who has like really older siblings? I kind of do. So I'm thinking like they were probably jamming out to this shit in the clubs.
For
and I'm jealous of that, you know.
Yeah.
The generation X, I guess.
Yeah.
My
dude,
parents would
honestly-
jam this shit, dude.
Their club idea kind of blew my mind.
Dude,
It's
me and
kinda
James, we were like, that sounds
I
cool
was
as
like-
fuck. And then
I
when it
was like, that's
happened,
fucking cool.
we're like, this is sick. Like, that would be a cool
Yeah,
club.
dude.
Like I was like, that's such a good idea. I was just thinking, I was like, what if this is on Vegas? You're on the Vegas Strip, and you just see like that outside club.
Those
There's
nice couches,
couches
yeah.
and like it's just feeling nice. And then you go inside, there's freaking stop signs, cars and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
that's so genius.
So
for,
cool,
for them
dude.
being
Yeah.
for them being so stupid, like that was like their one stroke of genius.
I'm surprised there isn't one. I mean, maybe there is, but like,
There has to be,
there's
right?
gotta be.
There has
that'd
to
be
be.
like the
gotta be.
perfect, like, I don't know, like a cheesy ass nightclub. Like, it would be good.
Yeah.
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 Oh Jesus. So I want to take it back a little bit to the two main characters and their story on how they kind of never had to work. It's interesting because we see this again. Flash forward to one of Will Ferrell's probably most famous movies, Step Brothers, where you have two brothers
Yeah.
who also don't have to fucking do anything.
They're
So they
fucking
kind of have
stupid.
that. They're both fucking idiots. They hate each other, but they love each other. But like this is like a trend that I don't know. Like I don't know where it started, but there's something hilarious about two helpless grown men who have never had to work a day in their life, and like seeing them experience real life, like try to go through that.
Yeah.
Now
I
I'm like,
wouldn't-
I'm wondering when Will Ferrell joined SNL. Like maybe he's just never had to work in his life, so he like it just makes movies about this kind of shit, you know?
I'm looking this.
Does he write all this stuff? Like that's the thing, because okay, like
No.
you said, hilarious. There's something hilarious about it. I don't know if I would go that far to say that it's
Maybe not in real life, but in watching it on film is funny. Like
but it's
don't know.
almost like
Cringe.
it's cringy. It's like I can't do this. Like how many more like stupid things are they gonna do before they like finally get a dub? You know?
there's some
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some relatability to, like the fucking hashtag, like hashtag adulting, where it's us doing normal ass things like, oh, I scheduled a doctor's appointment today. Hashtag adulting. It's like
The worst.
you don't have to tell everyone hashtag adulting.
Yeah.
But it's like part of us still feels like trapped, like, oh, me doing something grown-ups do makes, I don't know. I think it's relatable in a weird way,
Yeah.
even seeing older people do it.
So real quick, he was 27 when
Especially.
he joined SNL.
Okay.
So I
So it looks like-
assume he had at least a job before that.
He was a hotel valet and a teller at Wells Fargo,
Hmm.
and then
Sure.
went into improv.
Nice. Dude,
So-
I feel like I saw a story of him. He was on a night, I think he was on Conan or someone, and he was telling a story about his valet days. Like, yeah, Will Ferrell has some interesting past for sure. But I've heard that he's like really interesting. So I think there's this thing about comedy where a lot of people just they watch comedy movies and they're like, okay, like it's just a bunch of guys like having a good time and like having fun, whatever. That's what comedy is. But I listen to a lot of other podcasts about specifically about comedy with comics, and they really get into like the weeds about like what makes something funny and like the really like hard work that is put into humor that you don't really see. You don't really think about that. You could see that with like a drama. You could see that with like, you know, a horror, a romance. You could see the hard work, but with comedy, it looks like they're just having fun. And I've heard that Will Ferrell is like an expert in the craft of like getting down the science of like what is funny, and working with him on set is mind blowing.
And isn't his like big goal is to try to make everybody laugh, even like the cameraman and stuff when he goes off?
Oh, I would
Is,
imagine.
is
yeah.
that him? I can't remember who I heard that about, but like that
Yeah,
was like
it wouldn't surprise me.
their
Dude, that's
main
the
goal.
fucking the Anchorman warm up. Remember?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
So
Yeah.
good.
That's
So good.
Yeah, I could believe that, and yeah, I don't want to like discredit people that work in humor because I do think it's hard. There's an amazing documentary that uh who the fuck made it? Oh my god, I'm blanking. Really famous person made this documentary about SNL, a week in the life of SNL, basically.
Yeah.
And it's during the John Mulaney, Bill Hader era.
It was oh shit, that sounds so familiar. I don't
It's,
know. I don't know.
It's
Can I look
James
it up?
Franco. James Franco made it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As part of
James
like
Franco.
a graduate degree for like a really prestigious school or whatever. He went into SNL and he documented everything for a week, which they do. They write the shows and they air the shows and they make the shows a week at a time, right?
Yeah.
And it shows like how like a lot of these people don't leave like 30 Rock. Like they show up for work on Monday. A celebrity is there to be on the show. I think in this case it was like John Malkovich or someone.
Yeah.
And they pitch ideas and then they write like literally for like 40 hours straight. Sleep in the offices. Fred Armisen is in the documentary. He goes home for like 4
Nice.
hours to sleep, comes back, and they just write a fuckload. They do table reads on Wednesday. Then they decide what needs to be changed, what needs to be altered. Then they pick the skits that are going to be done on like Thursday or Friday. And then they get everything ready like Friday, Saturday. And like Saturday, like
For the
during
boys, right? Yeah, for sure.
it's for the boys and they're still writing. They're making
That
changes
is
to the skits.
that sounds insanely stressful, dude. Jesus
And
Christ.
they're because they do a pre-show, right? Where they basically are testing what
rehearsal,
works
kinda?
to an audience. Yeah, a rehearsal. And the sketches that don't hit with the audience, they just cut right there, or they'll like change
And
right
nowadays
there, and then they
they're
do
just
the real
like-
show.
They're like, fuck it, let's just do it anyway because none of our jokes are good.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
come
know, it's a different time
Come
now.
on.
But the documentary is amazing. You can find it on YouTube for free.
When was it made? Do you know? Like,
Are you
what
muted,
era?
James? I think James is muted.
Oh, sorry.
What
Yeah.
era do you? What was
Um,
that made? Like, who was like a?
I don't know the
mainstay?
years.
Because
Yeah, like I
now,
said,
like
John Mulaney, Bill Hader, Fred Armisen,
the best era, by the
Kristen
way.
Wiig.
You
Yeah,
could just say the
Okay,
best
and
era.
here's what I want to say is
You have
I
a
feel
different
like-
best era? Is that what you're
no
saying?
no.
every
I feel like
generation has
everybody's
its best era.
everybody's best era is when they were like in high school. Is what I've
Was that?
heard from. Well, that was a little bit after for
I
us
don't-
because
I
I,
don't-
think we got-
SNL?
I think we got into the SNL game a little late. Like, and granted, I don't even really watch that much SNL. Like,
Yeah.
It came out in 2010.
The Bill Hader
Um,
shit was the best.
so we were still in high school in 2010.
Yeah. For sure.
So, but I've like heard that is like your favorite SNL ensemble is when you're in high school because like that's when it resonates the most kind of thing. That's when it's the most
Sure,
topical.
yeah.
Yeah, with
It was
everything.
shot in 2008, but it came out in 2010. But
This is-
2008 to 2010 probably had the same cast. So
That's our entire high school.
It's like your favorite Star Wars, whatever you grew up with, you know.
Right. Yeah. But there's one of my favorite podcasts, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Dude, that
So
they talk so much about Conan talks so much about like his time writing for SNL and like just being on there, and it's so fucking cool to hear these like little, you know, tiny stories that he peppers in all the time about that shit.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, you know, kind of like that documentary. I
That
haven't
was-
seen it, but
He was
Just the-
before Will Ferrell, right? Because he left to
Um,
join The Simpsons, or is it the opposite?
what
Oh,
Conan?
wait.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien.
Conan wrote for The Simpsons first, I believe.
First, oh
And
shit.
I think, fuck, I actually don't know the timeline. I think he
he
wrote for The
started
Simpsons. Yeah, I think he wrote for The Simpsons
feel like-
first, and then with SNL, and then
Wow.
got his gig with the Tonight Show
TV,
or the
yeah.
Late Night Show. Yeah,
Damn, I would have assumed that The Simpsons came after because better. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know
Well,
how to
The
say-
Simpsons is weird. There's a lot of, I don't know.
But he was like, he was in the prime.
It's a lot
for
of
sure.
episodes, a lot of bad
Lot of
ones,
episodes.
I'd say.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
the same
God,
with
yeah.
SNL, dude. I mean, the show's been
Yeah.
on for like
Yeah, 'cause
fucking 50 years.
Will Ferrell's
More.
era was not good. What I've seen, no, dude, no, bad. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Well, it was coming out of an era of declining popularity, and he somewhat helped make it better. Like, this is where we got more cowbell and shit like that from.
Oh, right. right.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
the thing
that's
about,
that was-
you know, this like Lorne Michaels empire that we talked about earlier is like SNL is basically like the college for humor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you make it through a 10-year of SNL, then you'll probably go on to do movies or whatever the fuck you want.
Get a
and it's
TV
just gonna be
show, yeah.
produced by Lorne
Mhm.
Michaels.
Or
Like
you're
John
yeah.
Mulaney had the show Mulaney,
That
which
shit
Lorne
did
Michaels
so bad.
produced, and it was terrible. It was fucking awful.
Oh, I
But he
haven't
went on to
seen
keep
that.
doing shit because he's actually funny.
Best
But that was like
comedian.
a hard,
IMO.
you know, a hard sell.
Yeah,
John
because
Mulaney is great. Yeah.
shit. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Like, I lost it. I don't know, dude. Go ahead. Go. Someone take the floor. Jesus Christ,
I
get
would
me out
say-
of
I
here.
was gonna
Turns
mention the there's a documentary about South Park where they have to create a episode in 7 days.
Oh wow.
So
Oh, damn.
South Park creates brand new episodes in 7 days. It is always on the times, always current. Something that's happening just that week or the previous week, like,
Mhm.
and that's how they make it happen. But yeah, there's a documentary about
I remember.
that as well.
I think it's
Live in the office type of deal.
yeah. I want to say when Obama won or something like back then. I remember watching like a behind the scenes of them like, all right, this happened. We need to fucking write something now and like animate it by
Yeah.
the time the next episode
And
comes out.
and to take it back to A Night at the Roxbury a little bit, there's that in this movie. There's the whole topicalness of like we need this stuff to be relevant today, like all the way through A Night at the Roxbury, like.
But, like,
which
that's-
is the references they make and stuff. So you
But
see that
that's-
it feels like an SNL skit that's just
Yeah.
an hour and a half.
I think
long.
that's all they know. you know?
stretching it
Right.
out, and they're like, "No,
But-
it can't
but-
go, and it can't go any farther than this." And they're like, "No, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep."
Yeah, we got to make a
pulling
full
it."
movie out of this.
Yeah.
It's not just a skit. Yeah.
But like, so like I was saying earlier, is like I feel like that's why I was like, this is almost like a timepiece because
Yeah.
freaking What Is Love was 5 years old at the time this movie came out. 5 years, dude. Could you think of how many like hits like that probably came out in between those times?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm wondering
And then
what
they were
a hit
talking
was
about
5 years
Joni
ago
Loves
from now.
Chachi's, like yeah, like it's kind of crazy. So like I don't know, I don't really know if I agree that they were with the times. I feel like they were with a time period, not like it wasn't very
Yeah, that's fair.
prevalent like in the actual time. And I think everyone was coming off, it was 98, they were seeing the 2000s, those kinds of things that they were doing in 92, 93. Just that's why I think it was supposed to be more funny, I think, for 98.
It was like
when this
it's
movie
like
came
making a
out.
disco movie in the 80s or something. It's like making fun of like the very previous like trends,
Yeah.
right? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, like it's weird because it's a movie that came out making fun of the times that it's out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But-
Like the stuff
like-
that's dying as it's coming out, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's
Holding
and
on,
that's
and that like
like
brings
that.
us back to the theme of like holding on to that past kind of, past self
Yeah.
or past time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does kind of seem like they are the ones stuck. Like even, I guess the club will play like those kinds of songs, but like the aesthetic that they carry and the like vibe that they give off is not even really of the time that the movie's set, you know? Like the
Right.
scene, and it's a great fucking scene when they're walking down the street in their like black like
Yes.
shirts, you know? Like
Yes.
they obviously stand out, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like it'd be like if we made a movie about like dubstep or something like I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
glow sticks or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like using the troll face meme today, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's a little outdated.
I think
Yeah.
shit moves a lot faster these days too, though.
That
Yeah,
is
sure,
true.
dude.
Yeah, that is true.
But I
God,
think
dude.
that was like the beginning of when shit moved the fastest. Like technology was
The internet was just
accelerating
new
at a rapid level. You know, they had the big brick cell phones, and they were just like, oh, these are old. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it was like they were. It was like a bridge in the in time right there. That's what was
Yeah.
kind of interesting to see about this movie. Was just like you couldn't tell if they were trying to be in '93
Yeah.
or were they in '98. Like you just, but that's us. That's I guess that's my perspective being only freaking
out of
7 years
both of
old or
those
whatever.
times,
You know?
5 years. Yeah, we were 5 years old
Yeah.
when it came out. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the brick cell phones because it's funny how they were really leaning into like, oh, these huge brick cell phones are so dated, mom. And then like the other
Yeah.
cell phones are like also, I mean, you know, today, 20 years later, it's like very fucking dated too. And it
Yeah.
just
Those
looks
little
both of
dock
them look great.
chargers, dude. Did your
Yeah.
parents ever have those phones?
Oh god,
Yeah.
yeah. Where, dude, you know what's so funny about phones? Like looking back, is how easy and like how quickly we forgot about like being able to take your battery out of your phone.
Yeah.
Remember that?
yeah.
Like
You'd
the
like have a
first,
spare.
I feel like the first phone they released that you couldn't take the battery out, all of us were just like, "What? This is blasphemy! How are you gonna reset it when it malfunctions? Like, how are you gonna turn it off? Like, if it because you couldn't take
Yeah.
the fucking battery out, and now you can't. Can you buy a phone that you could take the battery out? I mean, I doubt it.
Maybe I would buy it. I like it.
I would buy it. Yeah.
And you
Have
know,
that
I would
spare
still,
charge
I would
ready to
still
go.
buy. Yeah, I would still buy the freaking keyboard slide up for the full keyboard.
Oh my, the side.
I would do it.
The
I had,
original fucking droid, dude.
yes, me
might
and Jay
still
had that
be
fucker.
the perfect
Oh,
phone. Might
I
still
love
be.
that
with the
phone.
R2D2 paint on it. I don't care. I
Oh,
wanted
that
that
was sick.
so bad.
That was when I was like, I saw Jay. He was like on Facebook or no, it was MySpace back then. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He was on a internet browser on his phone. My mind was blown.
I
was
remember
like,
that shit.
I was like, I
Dude.
need to get that phone. I had that phone for like forever. I love that phone.
Me
I still
too.
want that phone. I want it. I don't care.
Dude,
I
still
want
had
the I want the physical keyboard. Fucking sue me. I don't care.
Dude, I remember
I
the
love the
BlackBerry
keyboard.
texting under the
I was
desk at
just gonna
school.
say,
You didn't have to
Oh.
look, dude. It was so
Dude,
sick.
the BlackBerry's texting was unmatched. Like
Yeah.
it was that keyboard was so fucking good. It was like T9 texting, but BlackBerry had its own version of T9 texting
Yeah.
where
No.
it was on another fucking level. That shit was when Jay had. I remember Jay having that Droid, and I had the BlackBerry Flip, and I remember
that
at the
shit.
time
Yep.
people were just like, "You still have a flip phone?" I was like, "Fuck!"
It had the little wheel, dude. That was so
I had-
cool.
I had the Crazer. It wasn't the Razor. It was the Crazer. It was pretty dope though, because it was lime green and it was pretty flash.
Oh, I remember that. I remember you
And it
having
had-
that
Dude.
phone.
And it had a little like touch screen, and I could play music from
On the
front.
outside. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Sick. So
was
sick,
dope.
dude.
I
Dude,
never
that's
had.
that's like at the same time when you had to have a secondary MP3 player. Like you had to have an
Yeah,
iPad,
dude.
or an iPod, or a Zune. God, remember the fucking Zunes?
Zune.
At a
James
Zune.
was
I'm a
Zune.
Zune
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, I think Nader still rocks his
That Left
Zune,
4
right?
Dead Zune. Remember that shit?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Manny won that at a raffle for for Intel Land Fest, right? Like
Jeez.
very obscure reference, but God, yeah, that
I miss
that was
iPod
such a
Touches,
strange
dude.
time.
I miss it.
I had an iPod even in fucking high school, dude.
Dude, the fat ones
Yeah.
with the wheel.
Everyone
Ah.
had shuffles. A lot of people had shuffles back in those days.
I had the Nano. That was
I had the
I
what
had
is
a
it called?
Nano,
The
too.
fat one, dude. Not the Nano, but the fat one.
what was
Classic,
that?
maybe?
Classic, yeah.
Loved it.
I had a Nano
You
in
can watch
middle
music
school.
videos on that tiny ass resolution screen. Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a funny story. The guy that introduced me to this fucking movie, same dude, was the first guy I knew that got an iPod. The OG ass iPods that came in the different colors.
Yeah.
He got a blue
Yep.
one, and it was engraved on the back, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen."
Dude, remember being able to get
iPod
iPad
video?
or iPods? Getting them engraved was like, holy shit! Like you have an engraved iPod. That shit
It
was
was
so
probably like
crazy.
$10 more, so not even that crazy. But like
Yeah,
back then,
it
we were
was.
like, "Holy fuck, dude, this is so
But the
Yeah.
backs
cool."
of those things were scratched instantly.
Yeah.
Like those things got so fucking scratched. Get
Yeah.
engrave it yourself.
iPod video. That's it, Steven. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
the one I
Weird. Wow. I did not expect to go down this road.
Yeah, we were really
Technology.
far. But like that's that's kind of this era, like this
Yeah, dude,
this
technology
whole
is
turn of
so
the century thing. Like
Yeah.
98 was like right there in the 2000s,
Yeah.
the early aughts where shit was just changing so fast. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think we're very blessed to be in this generation where we got to see like the real birth of the internet and like how it really took shape and really changed. And like
Yeah.
it's so fucking crazy, you know.
Well,
And this
like
was like
98,
right after
dude.
the movie.
Things
90
aren't
like-
changing as drastically as it was in those years, I think.
Now?
I think
Now,
it's
like
slowing-
technology wise.
or we're hitting a like diminishing return where like
Right.
if the processors are still being like 2.5 times faster,
It's what
not
Moore's
really
law,
impacting
right?
anybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're so goddamn fast anyway that it like doesn't feel different.
That's true.
But I think like we think about like 93 versus 98, right? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
Windows 98, right? That came out, but in 93 like computers existed, but they weren't really like home appliances. Like not everybody had one.
Mhm.
They were probably like still like academic or maybe
Nerds had
business
them.
at
Like
that
you were a
point.
nerd if you had a computer. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know, it's crazy. And
Okay,
in
we got
that
a
small amount of
comment.
time-
We got a comment. I had a second car phone. It was $1,800 and you couldn't call anyone. Imagine paying $1,800 for a phone and you can't even call somebody. That's more than the iPhone. New iPhone.
crazy.
Dude,
That's
I remember
That is
insane.
crazy.
And was that $1998? Because that's different than
Yeah,
a lot of
true.
money.
$21, like
I remember this exact chatter, getting a phone that the notifications were vibrations. And I was like, holy fuck, there's no sound and you just feel it. That is the coolest thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard. And now I'm like, I could never dream of not having my phone on vibrate because that
Yeah,
is
I know.
annoying as fuck.
I know, dude. Or like
I just remember like being at like waiting in barbershops and just hearing the asshole next to you scrolling through their 50 different ringtones. Like everyone would just there would just be like
Remember
so many
having-
ringtones for every phone, you know?
Different ringtones for your friends. It's like, oh, this guy
Yeah,
likes
but-
Iron Maiden, so I'm gonna put this song for them. You're like, it's so stupid, man.
Or
Paying
did you
99
ever
cents
have-
for that shit, yeah.
Did you know people that use the ring backs where you call them in and it plays
Yeah.
a song?
Yeah, I had
Wow.
one. It
What
was
was it? What was it?
It was Crazy Train by Ozzy
Nice,
Osbourne.
nice.
Okay, so Steven, the guy who picked this movie, had a ringtone that was boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room.
I
Oh,
remember this. I remember that.
And it was so muffled and pixelated and like just so distorted, like, but it was still like boom, 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 boom. I want you in my, like it was
Sick,
it was
dude.
so good.
Dude, that was
It
also
was
the era
so
of like
good.
recording a voicemail message. It was just
Yeah.
a song. Like recording a voicemail message was a song.
Yeah.
God, and then recording from other people's devices, like, oh, I want that new song that came out, so I'm gonna have you play it on your phone. Everyone be quiet. I'm gonna record on my phone, and you would have this terrible photocopied song version. Oh Jesus!
Botched
You had to
ass
call a
recording.
freaking hotline to download a fucking ringtone sometimes too.
Jesus!
Polyphonic ringtones.
Cycling through them for fucking hours.
Yeah.
The first and only audible ringtone I
Wow.
had was the Halloween song.
Mm,
The, like
Nice.
Nice.
Oh God. Okay.
Down with it.
How do we come back to A Night at the
I don't know.
Roxbury from this?
I don't know.
Um,
How could you?
How could you? I feel really quick. We need to talk about the cast. Okay, Chris Kattan, not a whole lot going on there. Sorry, Chris.
Who?
Yeah, there's like nothing else really notable that I really know him from. Will Ferrell, of course, like enormous, right? Dude, okay, here's one. So my girlfriend and I watched the night before we watched this, we watched The Green Mile, which I don't know if any of you have seen that recently. That's a good fucking movie. The Green Mile is really fucking good. But John Coffey, one of the main characters in The Green Mile, is the fucking guy who plays the bodyguard in this movie. Just
The
this
bouncer.
huge burly fucking man. His name is Michael Clark Duncan.
Rest in
Phenomenal
peace. He
fucking
passed
actor.
away.
Yeah, he did pass away in 2012. But yeah, I was just like, we were watching this and we just see this bouncer, and we literally had just watched this movie, so it was fresh in our head. We're like, what the fuck? John Coffey's in this? But there's like other randomly like very well-known actors in this. Like Eva Mendes, she just makes an appearance at her only appearance is at the wedding, right? Like at the actual wedding.
So random.
It's like, hey, are you from out of town? And I'm just like, oh,
That was actually
which is
funny.
another
That timing was good.
I think the end of the movie had really good jokes too, where you had the preacher who was just like, well, if he wants to get baptized, you're gonna tell him that no one can do this in this town for under $150. Like he's just making business deals on the altar. That's like really funny. Like that shit. Dude, I don't know. It's just
And when he
when
marries the guys or the wife
The
and the
new
new
guy.
guy.
yeah.
This is a separate fee. Is that cool?
Yeah, just so we know, this is a separate fee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dearly beloved.
That guy,
Um,
the trainer guy, he's in things. He like seems familiar, but he's never like a
Scary
Big name.
Movie is probably where you know him from.
scary movie. Yeah, I mean,
Dude, okay.
Lachlan Monroe. Lachlan Monroe? Is that his
Yeah.
name? Canadian actor?
Okay, so I have a take on this movie
Take it.
that
Oh boy.
also applies to the movie Faster that we have reviewed recently. I don't know when that was, 5 or 7 episodes ago. If the main characters weren't brothers, it would be better. I feel like they were made brothers so that they didn't seem gay, but they would be more interesting if they were not brothers. Dude, they are so fucking close.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is
That's
like
interesting.
in this movie, they're so fucking close. At the end, they are hugging and shit, and then it's just like, yes, this is amazing. And they're like, oh wait, they're brothers. This is fine, whatever. It's like nothing.
Yeah,
You
and
know what
it's
I
like
mean?
maybe that like late '90s homophobia, right? Where
Yeah.
it was like we can't release a movie about like two guys just having this bromance, like just being really good friends.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel you on that.
yeah, that's interesting. I took the ending as like, this is the ultimate. The message is that the ultimate bros before hoes. Like,
But
This
but
is
when
it.
but they got a joke in there when you had me at hello is a
Yeah.
reference to the
Yes, that whole
who's the
conversation.
short guy? Who's the short guy? Crazy guy jumps in the couches. Tom Cruise. There's a movie that he says that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know what movie it is.
Yeah. So that's a
Crazy guy
reference.
jumps on the couch.
Crazy
It's
guy
to a
short guy
romance
like
movie,
me.
right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reference
That's what
to a
I'm
romance
saying,
movie,
dude.
yeah.
Like they are skirting around this. It's like if they weren't brothers, it would be so much more interesting. I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I could agree with you there.
Yeah.
Because like
There's
the
nothing
parts
like
where they're
brotherly
apart.
love. There's an
I don't
entire
know.
city about brotherly
That
love.
is true.
There's an
too.
entire
'Cause
city.
You don't have like a brother, Terrence, so you don't know like.
Who's that? I'm
Yeah,
pointing
I
at
don't
him.
either.
He's
Okay.
kind of
You're
my
not-
brother.
I'm pointing at me, dog.
Dodged.
Jerry
God.
Maguire. Jerry Maguire's the movie that
There you go.
you had me at hello. And
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
they bring that back. I don't know when that movie came out, but I would bet that it's a fucking old reference because like I've said
Yeah.
time and time again, this movie came out 1996, 2 years before. Okay.
Oh shit.
That's
My bad,
still
guys.
pretty
But
recent.
still.
Or well, your argument was that it was like older.
Yeah, I was arguing that it
Yeah.
was older, but
Yeah, that's
a lot of the
yeah.
references are a little older in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the same vein.
I remember seeing the Xbox gamer tag thing where it was like your little bio and you had me at Halo. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's all I think of
Okay.
is the Halo, yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, this movie, it's I don't know, it's
What
something.
else is there to say,
What else
boys?
is there to say? We
What
went on
else is there
so
to
many
say?
fucking
Is there
tangents.
any other funny shit you guys can think of? I didn't take notes
Yeah,
because I
there's-
didn't want to.
I took some notes and then I stopped, and then I started again.
Can I
the-
cut in before you start talking about this?
Go
I
ahead.
feel so fucking bad for you, Jay.
Me?
For yes,
Wow.
because
Oh,
for
shit.
all the people here in the chat, Jay has been watching some of the most artistic, beautiful movies at Sundance over the weekend, and he has to go and watch fucking A Night at the Roxbury. Are
No,
you
okay.
kidding me, Steven?
Okay.
On
Hold
the
on.
weekend of
Hold on.
Sundance, dude, he's been watching like some beautiful movies, and now he has to go review A Night at the
Okay.
Roxbury.
You're
Oh,
not
shit.
entirely
I feel
wrong,
bad.
except
Except you like this movie. Okay, no.
No. Hold on. Pump those brakes.
No, there's some Sundance
Hold
movies that are shit.
There,
There's
it's
some
true.
Sundance
It's true.
movies
It's
that
true.
are
It's
shit.
true.
I only got to watch one today from Sundance, and it was it was so good. Okay, but the one I watched last night was so fucking bad that it makes this movie was like a treat compared to that movie.
Wow.
Nice.
It was there. It happened.
Wow.
You figure you have all
Okay.
these independent filmmakers who are like yeah, a lot of them are gonna be super artsy fartsy and stuff, but like they're not all gonna be winners for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But
They're-
alright.
they're
the
trying to
large
sell.
majority have been really good. But this
Yeah.
one was so fucking bad, and I was so over it. But
call it out. Put them on the blast, Jay. What's the movie? What's the title? Who's the
I don't know what
director?
fuck it was called.
Email him right
It
now.
was like
Two
a
brothers.
pun or
It's two fucking
something,
brothers,
right?
dude. And we're tying it all together.
It was like a poop
Uh,
joke. What is it?
It's two young brothers in their 20s. They're like
Mother
Belgian.
Schmuckers.
Mother Schmuckers. That's the movie. Don't fucking watch it.
Not a poop
It
joke.
was not good at all.
Oh,
It's two
geez.
brothers who don't grow up. It's the fucking same premise, dude. Honestly, there were times in this movie where I was like, "This is Mother Schmuckers," but not as bad.
But tolerable.
Yeah, and it was a little bit scary. But yeah, no, you're somewhat right, James, in that my mind was jarred by watching this movie in between. all the
Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Like the timing, James, when you asked me to watch this movie, I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I was like, we were trying to play video games, and I was like, there's nothing to play.
It's like
I was
a
let's fucking
Thursday
watch this
night. I'm
movie.
bored of
Let's
this.
just watch this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was fine. It was good. It was
It's
great.
a fun movie, and like, okay, well, so let's get straight into the reviews then, shall we?
No, Jay had two things to say.
Oh, you
No,
did.
It was just Taryn said if there's any funny things. The scene where he puts the Twizzler in his nose, it goes pretty fucking far up there. That was
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
it's pretty pretty deep. It's like a COVID test length.
Wow.
fucking Twizzler.
God damn.
Okay,
COVID Twizzler.
I forgot to mention that this movie is randomly really fucking dark at times. Like when they're doing whippets, like when they're fucking
Oh yeah.
puffing,
Yes.
Yeah.
puffing
That's
fucking
right.
inhalants
That's like-
and whipped cream. Like I was like, this is dark.
That's the
was
replacement
another-
for actual drugs, but it's like
Yeah, like
still
I was.
fucked up.
Nitrous oxide. Yeah.
There was another part where I was like, wow, that was like actually kind of a dark joke. Like it was like really dark. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's kind of like it was kind of a joke that was like
All
the
the
whippet scene
fuck?
is
When
interesting.
okay, I think I know what you're talking about. When Will Ferrell is describing his soon-to-be wife, he's like, "I wish I could just like murder this person." Basically, like he says some crazy shit. Is that what you're mentioning or no?
when
Will
which-
Ferrell's talking to his dad, and he's like, "Sometimes I just want to like what
Oh,
if she
yeah.
just like died or something?" And he's just like, "That's normal." And he's like,
Yeah,
"Okay,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
yeah."
It was really, really dark. Like he was like talking about killing his wife, doing this, doing that, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is actually a little dark, a little too
He's like,
Feel
that's
too
normal.
close to home. No.
What the fuck?
Whoa!
Damn.
Whoa, damn.
Whippets, I'm high on whippets trying to kill my wife. No, only jokes.
She's not home. It's okay.
The only other,
That's maybe a good thing.
the only
Exactly
other part that I wrote that I thought was funny, or funny enough to write down, was just the Richard Grieco therapy session with his dad
Yeah.
again.
That was so random.
Played by
It was
himself.
so
It was really
weird.
random.
That's like
That
a
was,
real
like,
guy.
Funny though.
And that was
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thing is that we didn't know who Richard Grieco was. Me and Taryn, I was like, "Who's
I
this?"
didn't-
And was
I
like,
didn't
oh,
know who that
okay,
was
he's
either.
an actor from 21
He's an
Jump Street.
actual
the original.
model or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so like I was like, damn, Richard Grieco with like the words of wisdom. Hey, he was like you.
Yeah.
He
was-
Yeah,
Jacqueline
yeah.
says, but I'm here though. Love you, honey.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the Richard Grieco thing was just like so weird, out of place, kind of funny. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was funny.
I
I, think
liked
the
it.
line that he had where he's standing in the wedding and they're like, "What is Richard Grieco doing here?" He's like, "I'm just trying not to get sued."
Yeah,
like
that was
it's
good.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like he's going so far into
Yeah.
this thing where he's just like, "Yeah, I really am trying to avoid this lawsuit."
I feel like he was funny. Like his scenes
They're
in
funny.
in the club, where he's like, "Oh, geez, like they're doing the neck thing, like they're hurt, and like he's
Yeah,
like, we gotta play it off."
yeah,
They bring him into the
yeah.
club. Like that shit was good. I liked
that
it.
that was a clever setup, honestly. But honestly, overall, I was disappointed with just that. I thought it was gonna be One Night at the Roxbury.
I thought it
I didn't-
was. I had
I
seen
thought
this. And
A Night at the
you've seen it
Roxbury.
20 times,
there
apparently.
was. I know I did. Well, who the fuck knows what else I was doing? But like
Whippets.
Whippets, maybe. Whippets, yeah. But like the random like Highway 902, it was like trying to be like it was trying to be like The Shining.
the title
where-
cards. Yeah.
Where like the title
Oh,
cards
yeah,
were
yeah.
so
Weird.
fucking worthless, and like it was just I don't know what. I
I
don't
don't
know
remember
what it
that
was
part.
about.
I'm lost
There's
on
a
that.
lot of
No,
title
so
cards.
there was a lot of title cards. Like it was like the Roxbury, 240.
Oh,
AM,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like this.
and it was
Yeah.
like their
The
dad's
bedroom.
fake plant store or whatever. Like just
Yeah,
random
yeah,
shit.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But
Honestly,
All
the
right.
best title cards like that are in Gone Girl.
His,
Look out for the Patreon episode.
Fucking Christ.
I'll just
That
say his head breaking the window was funny both times. How stupid as it was, I liked it.
movie
the
was good.
funniest one for me was when they were in the van and then some girl throws like a coffee at them. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, it was like fucking dick. I was like, "Oh shit!" That
Yeah.
made me laugh. Like, well, I don't know.
That was funny.
All right, so boy, we have went quite off the rails on this one, but all great conversation, all stem from this movie. Let's jump straight into reviews. Who wants to take it away?
You do.
I'll take it away.
I mean, James
I
does.
will.
James
I
does.
will
Take it.
grab it by the horns and bob my head to
All
this
right.
classic
Settle
movie.
down a
I'll
little
do-
bit.
Should I just do it through the whole thing?
I really wish you
You will throw up. Don't do that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. This movie is really fucking stupid. Like it's. We got a comment in the chat saying this is. Just admit it, guys. This isn't a movie to talk about.
We can talk about it for an hour
Oh my
now.
god, I don't know. We've
I've
been
been for a
talking.
while.
We've been
Talking for a
talking,
long
but
time.
I think
Well, we've been
that's.
talking. You're right.
But I just think that's just we're able to get a little bit of connections to this movie. I'm gonna go right off the top. This freaking soundtrack bangs, regardless
Oh,
of what you
fuck
think.
yeah.
This is just
Collapse.
bangers upon bangers, and that's probably what I'm basing my score on by itself.
That definitely boosted it for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
at least a
Um,
single.
Tons of the jokes, the reoccurring jokes, just didn't land. They're just so stupid. They're not really funny. It's very kind of cringy to watch these guys suffer through their stupidity throughout the movie. And yeah, big props to the set designers.
True.
The Inside Outside Club. Fucking
Dude,
genius.
Looked lit.
Me and
It
James
looked
were like,
lit.
Honestly.
this is actually kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
like, this is sick.
Honestly, really cool. Big shout outs to them.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I really don't know what the hell else to say about this movie. Let me try to think. It gets kind of weirdly dark in some areas, and then it gets wholesome with Richard. Is Richard Grieco?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's just like
Grieco.
it like tried to put a moral in the story. Like it was so like weirdly placed. It was just like it was like, oh, this movie's about fucking nothing. Let's just like try to put in like a little schmidget thing of it. But this is a good movie to just throw in the background. Like
Yeah.
whatever, just have it on in the background. Nobody cares. Most everybody knows the freaking dance move, and that's good enough for me. This movie's a 5.
Ooh,
Can I go next?
5 out of 5 coming from no.
Oh, baby! Yeah,
We forgot to mention we're going out of 5 now.
Oh gosh. All right. Can I take it over?
Yes, you can.
Go ahead.
All right. I want to echo a lot of the same things that James talked about. The soundtrack absolutely slaps. So fucking good. It's so fun. I feel like throughout the entire movie, you're just having a good time because you're like, oh shit, I remember this song. I know this song.
Yeah.
Like, and you're just remembering that, and it brings up all of these old like emotions of listening to this crazy ass music where it was before we could go to clubs like our
Yeah.
age could, but it was just so hype and fun. And you know, it's funny. Like it is funny. It's not like comedic genius. I think this is definitely not Will Ferrell's best work or even close to it. But
Yeah.
it still has a lot of jokes, and I feel like a lot of the jokes they even transcend this movie where they go past on like the whole head bob thing. Like everyone knows that thing, and they may not even know this movie. They may not even know where they know that from, but they know the head bob from that song. And like you have to give some credit to the movie for originating that, for like making that happen. There's other interesting themes too that I think are recurring in comedy where you know there's just two helpless guys in their early 30s who can't figure out life, and in some weird way I feel like that's weirdly relatable where you're just like, oh shit, like none of us know what the fuck is going on, like, and it's funny to see that like in a film. So I don't know, that like gave a lot of credit to this movie for me as well, like just seeing that. I don't know, there's a lot of bad to say about it too, like I don't know, the acting wasn't particularly great. Like the writing was kind of cheesy. There was a lot of reused jokes that shouldn't have worked nearly as much as they did, to be fair. But I don't know. I think to stay with what James said is like you can have this movie on in the background and it's like it's gonna be funny. Like it's still gonna be fun. And I don't know. This movie I think is like somewhat of a comedy classic for our era, for like our age group. So for that, I can't go that low as a 5. I mean, I was thinking about like how would I rate this in stars, and like it's not a 3-star. Like I think it's like 3.5. Like I think it's like a 7. It's like a 7.
Whoa.
7
Higher
out of
than
10.
Whiplash? I'm done.
It's don't even get me started on
I'm
Whiplash.
done.
Watch last week.
Fucking done.
Whiplash sucks. This movie,
Wow.
I would watch it again, and I have watched it multiple times.
How
so.
do I turn this off? I can't remember.
This is a 7.
Hit the end stream button, bottom
Didn't we
right.
kick this guy out last time?
You tried.
How did he get
I
in
have
here?
the password, so I joined back in. So.
People.
The show where 3 friends fumble through your favorite film.
Doesn't have the same quote.
Including Whiplash. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Jay, you should
So,
go.
who wants
I feel like
to
you
go?
always go last. You should go.
All right, I'll go. Yeah, the music is great. The soundtrack is great. It feels like a very long SNL sketch because it is. Right? Like
That's fair. That is fair.
there's elements that are really cringy and there's elements that are surprisingly funny. Like I will give it those points, right? The club owner character is great. Did you just grab my ass is great. Like all those
Yeah.
little jokes that they sprinkle in and are aware of, like Adrian said in the show.
They know this
When they-
movie's dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
address some
They
of those
lean
things,
into
which
it.
is
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'll give it that. But it's not like I don't know. It's not my favorite Will Ferrell, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not. You say it's a comedy classic for our era, and I think that like I somewhat agree, but only for like the memes of like the
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Like
and
it
shit like
just
that.
was on.
And that's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
you can't take away that they came from this movie. Like,
sure, I
yeah.
agree. Um, but at the same time, like I don't think that it makes the movie good. Like I wouldn't call this like a good movie, but I have seen it multiple times and like I know the pieces of it, you know. I would agree that it's a great background movie, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think for me, like I'm kind of in the same vein as James. Like this is like a 5. Yeah, even 5. No
Okay.
doubt.
A 5. All right. So a 5 out of J. Taryn, you take it away.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It should have stayed an SNL skit, is what I'll say.
Oof.
Yeah.
Damn.
They tried very valiantly to make it an hour and a half long of a skit, and it just shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have fucking done it. Like, I feel bad. The director did like this and something else. Like hasn't done shit. Like,
And a single other thing.
yeah, the guy opposite Will Ferrell, I can't even remember his name because who fucking cares? Like, no one gives a
Yeah.
fuck. Like,
Catan, yeah.
he
Catan.
fucked up by doing this. Maybe, I don't know.
He was
I don't
pretty
even-
ripped though. I mean,
He was
looking like
compared to Will
looking
Ferrell for
kinda-
sure. Yeah.
he's looking kind of good.
I don't know, man. If I wasn't watching it with James, I would have been so fucking annoyed. Like, please end. Please end. I want to move on with my life.
Yeah, it was good we were able to talk to
man.
each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that was,
man.
and that's what I said. It's a good movie to watch with friends in the background. Like you're like,
Well, yeah,
oh, okay,
those
this
movies
is like-
have their place.
Okay.
They have their place.
They do, but this isn't even one of those.
Okay. Okay.
This is like,
That's fair. That's fair.
you know the head bob meme? You're good. You don't need to watch this movie.
You don't
That's
know. Yeah.
all
yeah.
that you need to know about this fucking movie. The ass grab joke is funny, but if you didn't know about it, it's totally okay. Like, your life is totally fine without it. I don't know, man. Like, the music was great, obviously. That will give it like 2 of the points I'm giving it.
Holy shit. He's rating it a 3.
A 2.
The beginning and the end are all I remember, dude. The whole like middle, like
the second part of the movie is so bad.
the 60% that's the middle,
The middle-
is
yeah, the
terrible.
middle is very
It
bad.
is so
Middle is bad.
unnecessary, dude.
There's no that this was what I was gonna say in my review. There's no fucking conflict besides the wedding. I wanted like Pineapple Express, somebody's selling drugs, and then like you gotta fucking find them and something crazy. I don't know. Like there was just
Yeah.
like
something, dude.
nothing
Yeah,
to care about.
agreed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy that I got to watch some sick movies for Sundance after this. Cleanse that palate, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. I don't even have any more specific things to say because it doesn't need it. Doesn't fucking need it. It's like I started like at a number, and I'm so much lower now after talking about it. I'm like at like
Holy
a 4, dude. 4.
All right.
4 out of 10. It's
Yeah.
not worse than Mulan. If I gave Mulan higher than this, I'm sorry. I don't remember what it was. But 4.
Well, I hope you're all happy. We have came to a collective score of a 5.25. One of our worst ratings, I think, ever. Mulan was definitely bad. I think Kids was really bad too.
Kids was higher than this.
Yeah, I
What's
would
Kids higher?
re-rate Kids
Like
way higher
6
than
something.
this.
Kids is definitely better than this.
No,
Yeah.
you would watch. Okay, I guess rewatchability shouldn't necessarily impact like your scores. I would watch?
No,
I would watch this movie
without
better
even
than-
rewatching it. Thinking about Kids, I would rate it higher without watching it.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So 5.25. Yeah, we would love to know what you guys think of Night of the Roxbury. Is it a classic? Does it deserve some praise, or is it a movie that we can get the head bob and just forget about it? We'd love to know what you guys hear or what you guys think. So message us on any of our socials. Find all of those at filmfumblers.com. Next week, what are we reviewing? It's
I
a
forgot.
mystery thriller.
The
The
something? Forgotten. Yes.
The Forgotten. I forgot it. The Forgotten. I guess I'm doing this job already.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore. Yeah. So tune in for that. Follow us on Instagram. That's the best place to find when we're going to be going live. Yeah. Also, I don't know how soon this episode is going to be released, but look out for some Sundance coverage that Jay, Taryn, and Alonso have been doing. They've been working on getting that content out, and there's a lot of interesting stuff at Sundance. I haven't looked into it too much,
Yes.
but there's some cool shit going on there. So
Yes, exclusive coverage. They created their own website because Sundance's website is garbage.
Yeah.
So
Terrible.
yeah.
true.
yeah, make sure to check out the website. We're gonna put it in the description. Hopefully you guys can check it out.
Yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, that pretty much does it. If you're watching us live, stay tuned for the after show. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, guys. See ya.
Cheers.
Cheers.